Hey, I'm Shay and welcome back to Books with Shay. So today I'm going to be doing my slightly late October TBR. I have filmed this once already, forgot to turn off my AC, and so here we are again. I'm going to go over the 2 readathons that I'm planning on participating in this month, along with my third goal, which is to clear my currently reading shelf because it has gotten a little bit out of hand. I think I have 7 books on there. To be fair, I think like 4 of them are for the readathon that I'm currently doing, and so those should fall off naturally, but then I have 3 that have been kind of hanging out there for a little while and I want to clear them out. So the first thing I want to talk about today is the Gilmore Girls readathon, which is being hosted by Liv's Library, Pastel Pages, and Mackenzie Lane. I will link their channels and their the Gilmore Girls readathon Twitter down below in case you'd like to participate. The readathon is taking place from October 1st through the 15th. There are a few challenges that we're reading from along with a group book, and so for the group book we're reading Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. I'll put a picture of it here. I got this on audiobook. It's a short audiobook, I think less than 5 hours long. It's read by Lauren Graham herself, who plays Lorelai in the Gilmore Girls. If you haven't seen it, I don't know where you have been. Stop right now, like even this video, go ahead and stop it. You can come back to me later. Go watch some Gilmore Girls, it's freaking awesome. Like I was saying, Lauren Graham, who plays Lorelai Gilmore, and she talks about basically her life from the beginning all the way to where she is now, and obviously a huge part of that was Gilmore Girls, and so I'm listening to that on audiobook. I've already started. I'm about halfway through. I think probably maybe a little more, maybe 60 or 70% of the way through, and I'm planning on finishing that, I would say probably tomorrow. So let's go over the challenges and what I'm reading for each of those. So the first challenge is a book with a school setting in honor of Yale and Chilton. So I thought for this prompt there was nothing more perfect than a book set at Yale that comes out this week or the beginning of next week. Comes out the beginning of the next week, I'm pretty sure. And so I will be reading Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I have never read anything by Leigh Bardugo, but Ninth House is getting so much hype here. It is not normally the kind of book that I would read, but I think it will be a little bit on the spookier side, and since we're in October, I figure when in Rome or when in October, you know. So I am going to be reading that. It is, I'm not exactly sure what the plot line is. I know that it has to do with secret societies, with kind of mysteries. I know that it is Leigh Bardugo's first kind of foray into adult, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'm not sure if it is contemporary or fantasy. I know nothing really about it, so I will link the Goodreads for the books that I'm talking about down below because I'm terrible at doing any kind of synopsis or anything like that, and I often forget. So if I ever don't give one, always look in my down bar and I will try to leave the link for the Goodreads pages. So the next challenge is a mother-daughter relationship book in honor of our favorite mother-daughter relationship ever. So for this one, I actually already read, because today is the 2nd, and yesterday I had like a stellar reading day, the best reading day I've had in a really long time. So yesterday I read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This was phenomenal. This was a 5-star read for me. I don't want to talk too much about it because I want to talk about it some more in my vlog and in my wrap up, but this is a kind of coming of age story about, I don't know, like I don't want to give too much of it away. I didn't go into it knowing very much, and I really liked my experience not having known a lot, but it's kind of a coming of age story about an African-American Latinx teen who is figuring out who she is. It's kind of, it goes into everything from like issues that she's having, not even issues, just what's happening with her body, what's happening with her family relationships, especially her relationship with her mother. It goes into the different experiences she's having versus her twin, who is male. It goes into just friendships and her love for poetry. It's all written in the style of poetry. It's just so, it's so good. It's a super, super fast read. I'm sure you guys have heard a ton about this. It's all over BookTube, but this was my book that I read for a mother-daughter relationship, and I loved it. So for the next challenge, it is any cozy book set during fall or winter in honor of Beautiful Stars Hollow and Lorelei Smelling Snow. So for this one, I am reading Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell with illustration by Faith Erin Hicks. I've already started this one. I'm maybe about a third of the way through it, and it gives me all the fall vibes. This is the most awesome. Like, I wish there was something like this in real life, like a pumpkin patch like this one. There's a whole map of it in the front of the book here. It has everything from corn mazes to Frito pie stops to petting zoos and pumpkin fields and pumpkin drops and chicken races and all kinds of crazy amazing things. And so this is definitely perfect for this challenge, and I'm loving it so far. This follows two characters, Josiah and Deja, who have been working at this pumpkin farm, and this is their last fall working at the pumpkin farm before they go off to college. And so this follows like the adventure of their last night, which happens to be on Halloween. So far so good. The next prompt is a book with complicated love interest in honor of Rory, Dean, and Jess, and the prompt after that is a book by an Asian author or has Asian representation in honor of our favorite best friend Lane. So I'm mixing these two challenges together, and I'm reading Frankly in Love by David Yoon. I've already started this one as well. I'm about 130 pages into it, which is maybe a third or so. And this is about a high school guy named Frank Lee, and he is dating a white American teen, and his parents are very racist and don't want him to date anyone outside of their culture. They disowned his sister for marrying a black man, and so him and his Korean American friend come up with a plan to kind of use each other as their beards so they can date who they want to, and the story progresses from there. I don't know. It's pretty good so far. It's an easy kind of laid back read. I really liked his wife. I like his wife and her work. And I thought that his writing may be in the same wheelhouse, which it kind of is, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it as much as I thought I would so far because the writing isn't what I expected, I guess. But they're two different authors, completely different people, so I don't know why I had my expectations set that way. But hopefully it gets a little bit better. And yeah, so I like this for this readathon because I think there's an exact situation in Gilmore Girls with Lane where she is dating a white person and uses a Korean person like friend to kind of cover that. So this is perfect for those two challenges. It's definitely a complicated kind of love triangle, love interesting thing happening, and then it's an Asian author and it's Asian representation. Next prompt is the next book in a series you haven't finished in honor of A Year in the Life. So for this one, I have already completed Saga Volume 2, which is the second book in the Saga graphic novel series. This was okay. I didn't like it as much as I liked the first one. The first one I think I gave 4 stars to. This one I gave 3 stars. And just in case I have some extra time this week and want to keep going, I went ahead and bought Saga Volume 3. So that is here in case I want to continue with the series. Saga follows 2 characters from different planets that are warring against one another who fall in love and have a baby, and now they are running from the law basically because no one wants them to be together because the 2 planets and 2 different species are warring against one another, and it's pretty good so far. The next prompt is a book with food on the cover or is a crucial part to the storyline in honor of Luke's Cafe, and for this one I am also using Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. This one has food on the cover. There are pumpkins all over it, and then of course it takes place in a pumpkin, like on a pumpkin farm, and there are pumpkin treats there and everything, and obviously this book would not be possible without the food pumpkin, brought to you by pumpkins. So this is what I'm reading for that challenge, and that takes care of everything for the Gilmore Girls readathon. I will be vlogging for that from the 1st to the 15th when it takes place, but I'm going to do 2 weekly vlogs, one for each week of the readathon. And then we'll move on into the spookathon, which starts on October the 14th, and I will be daily vlogging for that. And so for the spookathon, which is hosted by Books and Lala, whose channel I will link down below, along with the Twitter for the readathon, this one has 5 prompts or challenges. Let's jump right into those. So the first one is to read a thriller. For this one, I'm going to be reading The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I am not a thriller reader. If you've watched the vlog I have up on the channel now, you know that I do not read thriller. I'm a baby. I get scared really easily. My husband, however, does read thrillers, and so I kind of had him test the waters on some thrillers for me and read them and figure out if I would be too scared to be able to make it through. And so he read this one and has determined that I will probably be fine, and if not, he'll walk me to the bathroom until I'm fine again. Don't look at me like that. He's sitting in the background over here. Anyway, so this one is about a girl who's looking for a job, and she finds a posting for this nannying gig that is in Scotland, and it has this exorbitant pay and everything, and she really needs the money, I guess, and so she takes the job. And I guess when she gets there, they tell her that the reason why they're paying so much is because the house is haunted and they've lost a lot of like nannies in the past. Everybody quits and nobody stays, and so they're trying to keep a nanny, I guess. I don't know much more other than that, and so I'll hop into it. Hopefully I like it. There's also a prompt on here that says to read something that you wouldn't normally read, and that is definitely the opposite of something I would normally read, so I'm using Turn of the Key for that one. I keep wanting to say Lock Every Door. Turn of the Key, Lock of the Door. See? All of that. Lock of the Door, which I think is a Riley Sager book that my husband also read and determined I probably could read too, but would like Turn of the Key better. I don't know. Anyway, so for the next one is a book with red on the cover. For this one, I am going to be finishing God's Grave by J. Kristoff. I read Nevernight for the first time last week or week before maybe, and I wanted to hop right into God's Grave. This series is so good. If you have not read this, you should totally go and pick it up. If I can't wait to read this one, I'll read it as the next book in a series for the Gilmore Girls readathon, and then I'll read Nevernight for a book with red on the cover in this. But it is about an assassin named Mia Corvair whose entire family is killed, and she wants to get her vengeance, and so she attends a school for assassins, and this kind of follows her in that story, and it's just so good. It's so good. So I'll be reading this for a book with red on the cover. And then for read a book with a spooky word in the title, I'm going to be reading Hocus Pocus, which I'll insert a picture of here, and I'm going to watch the movie as well. I'm so looking forward to this. This is like the quintessential Halloween film of my childhood, so I'm looking forward to reliving it through the book, getting to watch the movie, and Hocus and Pocus are both pretty spooky words in my opinion. Next one is to read a book with a spooky setting. For this one, I don't have this one either, so I'll insert a picture here. This one I'm going to be reading Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shannon McGuire. This is the second book, I believe, in the Wayward Children series. I have already started it. I really liked it. It was very spooky. Almost too spooky for me, right on the edge. But I love all of the different points that she is able to make in such an abstract way of writing. It's so awesome. And so I'm going to be reading that for this. I'm not exactly sure what this is about, but basically the Wayward Children series follows a group of kids that have disappeared into these parallel worlds like Alice in Wonderland, basically kind of fallen down the rabbit hole, and then they've come back to their actual lives and no one really believes them, and so their parents send them off to this school for kids that are struggling and need kind of counseling and things like that. And when they get there, the school's actually for kids that have fallen down these rabbit holes. The people there believe them, they talk to them about it, get them through it, things like that. And so we kind of read about that in the first book, and now this follows maybe Jack and Jill, I believe, from the first book. And so I'm excited to read this. All of Shannon McGuire's Wayward Children series books have kind of a spooky setting, so that should be perfect for this challenge. And then that will take care of all of my books for the Spookathon. And so the last thing I'm doing this month of clearing off my currently reading shelf, for that I'm going to be trying to finish Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I am maybe a quarter, maybe a little less than a quarter of the way into this. It's kind of at a dry part right now. I really thought that I was going to love this, so I want to stick with it, and I'm hoping that as I stick with it, it will come to the place of meeting my expectation. And then for clearing my currently reading shelf as well, I want to finish Furthermore by Tahada Mafi. This I have maybe 50 pages left, not very much left of this at all, and I love this. It is beautiful, whimsical writing. This is kind of, I don't think I said what Strange the Dreamer was about, but like I said, I'll link it down below, because it's one of those books where you don't really want the synopsis for it. You kind of want to jump in not knowing. That's what I was told. I didn't know anything about it when I started. So far, that's worked well for me. And then for Furthermore by Tahada Mafi, this is about a girl who has no color in a world where color represents how much magic you have, and therefore kind of your value. And so people assume that because she has no color, she has no magic. And this is kind of her coming of age story. Her father has also disappeared. She's on a quest to kind of find her father. And it's some of the most beautiful writing I have ever read in my life. I'm just so excited to hop back into this and finish it up. And then finally on audiobook, I have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So I got this on my Libby account as an ebook, and then I found out that Jim Dale narrates it, and Jim Dale is one of my favorite narrators of all time. If you don't know who Jim Dale is, he narrated the American version of the Harry Potter series, and it is so good. He's such a fantastic narrator. I feel like that's a controversy, like people are split down the middle, but either you love him or you hate him, and I love him. I mean, Hermione's voice is a little rough, but other than that, I'm a total Jim Dale fan. So I'm going to be listening to that on audiobook, and I think Hannah from A Clockwork Reader, I think that's her favorite book of all time, so I've heard a lot about it, and it has, it's a very atmospheric read and takes you to kind of a fun carnival place, which reminds me of Trick or Treat, reminds me of October, and so I think it'll be a good read for this month. Baby, are you snoring in the background of my videos?
I didn't think I was asleep.
I don't even know if to leave that in or cut that out. Homeboy is laying in bed and just started snoring during my video. I'm not even interesting to my husband. No. He just got off of a 13-hour shift. He's just tired. Anyway, so that's everything I'm reading for this month. Let me know what you're reading this month. I am so excited to have I'm so excited to have a spooky reading month, and I hope that I'm able to get to all of this because this is a pretty hefty order for the month of October, but I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and yeah, bye guys. Da, da, da.